Here come old flat top, he come grooving up slowly. He got juju eyeball, he won holy roller. He got hair down to his knee. Got to be a joker, he just do what he please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Uncouth Radio. We are in the house, and the house is definitely packed. We have a good show in store for you today. We know this is the last show before election. We got 6 days left to election, and in the words of Warren G. Junction, what's my function? We're going to see what's going on next week. So we got a whole bunch of things that we really want to talk about. We want to get into what the Democratic Party needs to look like going forward, because we know Amy Coney Barrett was just confirmed in the sham confirmation. Like, again, Republicans with more gangster shit. So, you know, we're going to talk about, do we think it's a good idea to pack the courts? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into talking about Ann Lambert from the 3rd District, Richmond City Council. She's running right now, guys. So we're going to talk to her and about how her campaign is going. We're going to talk about, what else we talking about? Of course, we're going to talk about Biden, who has, to me, has seemed to really come alive. You know what I'm saying? These last few speeches, these last few times I've seen him out, he's really come alive. Georgia is actually in play. I don't know if you guys know that, which is something that rarely ever happens for a Democrat. I don't think a presidential.
Texas is too.
You said where?
Texas is too. He have about 2 points in Texas.
That's insane. So Texas and Georgia is in play, which are two places that are usually you don't even campaign because you know the Republicans gonna get it. And if y'all don't know,
states.
Yeah, they red states. And Biden was in Georgia this week, so they say he's really making it like a battleground state right now. Like, it's really up for grabs, and Texas is really up for grabs. And if he gets Texas and Georgia, it's really a wrap on Trump, unless he just straight up, you know, cheats, because I mean, I don't put that shit past him. So I'm gonna start with Miss Ann Lambert. We're gonna go to you first. Ann.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much. Just want to give y'all a quick update. I can't remember the last time I was on the show. It was probably like early summer.
Yeah.
Summer. So yeah, so we're 7 days out. I have been on the ground canvassing, knocking on doors, getting these votes out. I have turned out to be the front runner. I have gotten endorsements from all the Democrats here in Virginia. Well, most of them, but the main ones, I've, gotten their endorsement. Got quite a few labor unions behind me because I'm in support of hiring local. When it comes to projects that are occurring here in the city of Richmond, there's a collective bargaining agreement, and I'm in full support of labor unions that offer training and certifications for those that aren't going on the track to college. These are jobs and opportunities for folks to get back to work. I got quite a few endorsements through our old superintendent here in Richmond Public Schools, but Donald McKeechin, who's a representative in Congress. I have also Representative Scott, who I worked for, who is also the chair of the Committee on Education and Labor. I have Honorable Viola Baskerville. Some of you all don't know that these are local folks, but it's really a good sign coming into this race. I'm the third opponent. My opponents had started like last summer, and I hopped in the race this past February, and then COVID happened. So, this is an unlikely year to be running where you have a pandemic going on. So you aren't able to really go through your traditional campaign activities to raise funds and have all these activities. So I've been doing a lot of online things, and this show was my first radio interview as a candidate. So I appreciate you all giving me that opportunity. Since then, I've been talking to a lot of folks, answering questionnaires, been on candidate forums, doing radio interviews. So a lot has been going on, and it's just an exciting time. So it's looking really good here in Richmond, Virginia. I'm praying. I got a lot of prayer warriors out there, but a lot of support to be the next 3rd District Richmond City Council representative. So this is where I was born and raised, and to come back home and to run for office in a place where you grew up, it means a lot. And I know I have a lot of responsibilities, so I'm here to do the best job that I can.
Well, I'm so glad that we were able to be the first to get you
Yes.
on. Like I said, we've been rocking with you since the beginning of the campaign.
Yes.
We're really behind you. We really hope you win. I just wanted to ask you, you kind of mentioned it, touched on it a little bit, but I want to dive into it a little bit more. You said with COVID, it's very hard to do the regular, like you can't do your regular rallies, you can't do your regular meet and greets and all that. So what, besides the online things, what are some of the boots to the ground things? Because I've seen, I've been following you on social media, and I've seen you literally boots to the ground, talking to people at houses, picking people up, taking them home from like
the
so.
polls. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. When you want to run for office, it's all about the ground game. And one of my friends who is an elected official in Northern Virginia said to me, when you run for office, you look at your opponent's weaknesses and strengths. But the game that's going to get it is the ground game. So you got to knock on doors. So I have a lot of people that are supporting me, that have endorsed me, that also provided funds for my campaign. Right now, I'm at $60-some thousand of funds that I raised, which includes in-kind donations. My opponents, they're still like 20-some thousand they've raised. So my goal was like 12 to 15,000 to run for this election. And here, I've been blessed to have 60-some thousand. My race is the second largest raised funds for a local election. So who would have thought, so that's the thing. You got to get to the ground. You got to knock on doors, and doing radio podcasts and virtual town halls. All of those things help, but it really helps by knocking on doors. So one thing I did early in my campaign is I hired a street team of some young folks, and I had them put door hangers on every household in my district. So when my opponents was at home dealing with COVID and isolation, I had a young street team out there. So at least we hit every home one way or another with some literature just to say, hey, I'm running, and I started getting feedback from people, and they're like, you're the only one that's come on our block. And so when you have that momentum, the train left the gate, it was like on. So, creative out of the box things like that is what I've been doing. But I'm a hustler. So if it's get out there and knock on 50 doors a day, I'm doing 100 doors a day. So I'm an active, young, vibrant candidate that can really do the job. And so that I'm out there talking to folks, and, it's just been a great experience, but it's been the help of a lot of close friends and family that really are supporting, and folks like yourselves. So I have folks from all over donating, which really helped, especially in this time of COVID. I know funds are tight, and, folks are looking to, for the next paycheck and so forth. So I'm just been grateful and blessed to be able to be at this position right now.
Well, that's very helpful.
That's how President Obama, that's how he did his campaign, grassroots, talking to people, talking in the back of churches, doing whatever. Like you said, thinking outside the box, because we couldn't be as hands-on with COVID. But another thing I've noticed about like our local elections, like city council and school board and stuff like that, sometimes we get the ballots and we've never heard of the people. We've never seen a sign. We've never seen anything. So, a lot of times it goes back to that popularity contest, that eeny, meeny, miny, mo, like that. I've never, you know what I mean? So to hear like, hey, this name has some type of recognition, because she did have a door thing. Let me look her up. Let me see what it's about. Yeah, she's part of this party, but there's like 3 Democrats running. So what, you know what I mean? So for you to kind of say, hey, let me start with some name recognition. I think that's the most important thing, because a lot of these local elections, you get your ballots and you're like, I don't know who these people are. Okay, well, let me go with the person who's still doing it. It seems like they've been okay. So that's our whole thing. We've been like, we need to get involved. We need to know these people from the gate. And I hopefully, when in 2016, when it was around election time and we were seeing like, that it was kind of picking up for Trump and different things like that, I think we kind of looked at what could possibly be some of the benefits, because we knew it was going to be, I watch a lot of our old shows, because I try to post on our YouTube channel and stuff. And man, I don't even think we thought it was as bad as it was going to be. We were, we were predicting some stuff, but how can you,
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things we were saying was like, look, maybe he's here to shake some stuff up because, with Hillary, it would have been a lot of the status quo. And we may, of course, with the COVID and the response and all the tragedies and stuff, of course. But as far as getting involved and knowing, your government, knowing, taking everybody back to that basic civics class, all those things, that's what we needed. And clearly is what we needed because we still battling people who have the info. And we had encyclopedias. They have Google now. So we're reading whole bills and, looking at people break down stuff. And we needed that. And we needed to say, hey, we got these candidates. We're gonna stick with them from the gate, like candidates like yourself. Like obviously we're in California, but that gives us an idea of, hey, this is what we need to be doing in our community. So it's refreshing to see somebody who's like, hey, it's COVID, but we still gotta kind of reach out. We still gotta try. And so,
one thing that I've been blessed, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
One thing I've been blessed with is my father was in politics. So he got into office when I was 3 years old. So his whole political career had pretty much been my life. So the last name Lambert goes a long way. So that's really kind of just like you said, name recognition. And people here in Richmond, they remember my dad. And so that I'm getting a lot of votes from that. I'm getting a lot of votes because my brother passed away. He was a financial advisor. He was into stocks and helping people with their financial plans. And so a lot of his customers remember him. So that name recognition is a lot, and it meant a lot, and it goes a long way. So whatever advantage, whatever you can get to hold on, that's what you got to do. And then you knock on the doors. So when you're out there talking to folks, you start to really hear the concerns and really talk to folks on how to really make change. And one thing that's been coming up is because of COVID, everyone's like, well, how are we gonna get back the schools back open? Because everyone, parents are tired of their children now, is what it seems. Everybody's tired of virtual learning. So how are we going to open up the schools? I was like, well, first and foremost, this pandemic. If we don't curb this pandemic, we're not going to get back to any sense of normalcy. So wear your mask. So these folks are telling me how I'm going to open the schools back up. I'm like, y'all are out here in the park, not even wearing a mask. So do the basics. If we can be obedient and do the basics of wearing the mask, social distancing, maybe we can have some kind of idea of opening things back. But, and talking to folks, it's just the ignorance is amazing here. And I just like, well, how are we going to open back up if folks aren't practicing what the CDC and all these folks are saying? Because our leaders aren't really, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So,
well, let me ask you this. I'm saying, let me ask you this while I have you here, Ann, because you are running in a Democratic Party. So tonight we're going to use you as our official Democratic Party representative, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of single issue voters, and as you have been out there and you're on the ground, you're really talking to people. Can you give us a sense? And I know it's not a sense of the whole country, but can you give us a sense of what your district? What is the most important issue to your district, and what do you think is the issue that the national Democrats need to look at that coincides with what your district is looking for and needs?
Well, I can honestly say here in Virginia, we have a high, it's going to be eviction rate. That's a real issue that we're looking at here in the city. But, because I'm in Richmond, we're dealing with the racism. We're in a Confederate state. We're dealing with these monuments coming down. We have one monument coming down. The Lee Monument is the highest monument in the city. It's a historical area. And, as a Black person, it needs to come down, but at the end of the day, we got to really look at the policies that are in place that are still disenfranchising our communities. And, it seems like the Democrats, because Black women spoke up, okay, Biden listened, he got him a Black woman as his VP candidate. So, but it's just kind of like, all right, we've been fighting and pushing the Democratic Party. It's like, again, are y'all still listening to our concerns? So right now, I mean, for me as a Black woman in a state where it's always been black or white, I'm all about changing these policies, these racist policies and these practices that are still in play. So we need to look at the legislation that's on the books from before 1970, especially here in Virginia, because there's been a lot of disenfranchisement. And, when it comes to COVID, it's really shown the inequality we're facing within healthcare, education, jobs, excuse me, all of that. So that's one of the main issues is evictions. And so you're talking about people who are losing their homes and don't have jobs. So what are we going to really do to help them and provide the funding? Excuse me, I got a little.
It's okay. Get you some water. Get you a drink of water. I'm going to bring some of the fellas on while you handle that. Let's bring your brother Wayne Brady on. Who introduced us to Ann, and I want to bring on Ron, because I know y'all have some questions about the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to be able to get a chance to talk to Ann as well when she comes back on. But I honestly, while she's getting a glass of water and everything, these are the kind of politicians, people who really have boots on the ground, people who haven't yet been tainted, I guess, by the system, and people who are a little more progressive than the old guard. Because I don't think it's going to get done continuing to do things with those super moderate Democrats who are leaning closer to conservative. What's your thoughts, Ron?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It was interesting listening to Ann. I know she has a lot of great things going on out there, and so it's good to know, okay, we got somebody on our team that we've helped move forward and get into the system. But just as a whole, personally, I'm excited. We have an election coming up in about a week. I'm of the belief that Trump is out of there, and so we'll be able to get somebody in the office that has the right people around him to get some things done. So I'm really excited about what's coming up, and honestly just ready to get it over with. At a certain point you get I've been waiting for the Lakers to win, the Dodgers to win, and now Biden to win.
Right.
I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that.
That's the trifecta. That's the trifecta.
Exactly. So if that can happen, then we can start 2021 out, with a good foot in hand and someone we feel that at least is competent enough to listen to people around them and move this country forward. We want to make America great, for once, and that's the blue hat I want to see, is making America great for once. And it's going to take time. It took us a few hundred years to get here, but if we can all stay vigilant and stay strong, we'll get there, but it's just about the people who are being oppressed speaking out, and the people that are doing the oppressing just listening. And I think we're in that direction. So we'll see.
Okay. And Rob, I want to ask you in regards to, some of the issues and things that Ann was talking about in regards to what's important to voters. What do you see from New York? Because we know what Cali is going through. We know, and like Ann said, and Virginia is going to be evictions, because a lot of people, because of COVID and because of the horrible handling of COVID and the stimulus checks by this Congress and this president, a lot of people are unfortunately going to be evicted because they didn't do the right things that they were supposed to do in the beginning that would have been able to have us open the economy back now. So what do you see are the things that are important to the people around you in New York? Tell me what's the vibe there.
Overall, the most important thing is health. The COVID situation, it's going to be something that's going to be on everyone's mind, especially with the what's been going on with the Supreme Court. The fear of losing or health coverage, it's on everyone's mind, because realistically, anyone that has had COVID has a pre-existing condition. And are subject to losing their, whatever benefits. That's been the main thing. AOC has been very. She kind of has the pulse of what New Yorkers are feeling, where it's like no more, sitting down. It's like now time to bully our way into getting things done. As you said, the old way of doing things, the polite, you say low, we go high. it's, you can no longer have that gentleman approach anymore in politics. When
Well, I'm glad you said that gentleman approach, because it seems like those progressive women are the ones getting shit done right
right.
now.
Well,
Honestly, it seems like those
right.
progressive women that's in Congress, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's Congress, the Senate, the ones that I see even on the local level, like the progressive women are pushing that line right now. Like they are really, really out here pushing that line. We need to get some of the fellas to jump on to push that line to, like, for real, because you got AOC on one side and then the other side you got Cory Booker. And look, I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I know Cory Booker seems to be good for the party, but if he was a little more progressive, I think you would have more black men that would want to jump behind some of the things that's going on with the Democratic Party. But we have so many of the men in the Democratic Party are moderates, pseudo conservatives. And then on this other side, it makes AOC, Ilhan, and Lambert, it makes them look like radical left, when it's like, no, they're actually just fucking progressive. Like they're actually like they're not radical. Like they're literally just more progressive than the normal shit. They want to move shit farther than just incrementally, because everybody's like, this is the way we do. Because like you see Nancy Pelosi like, well, this is not the way we do it. And AOC is like, well, that ain't working. Like the way y'all do, the way y'all do it ain't working. So I want to see more progressive. I'm gonna bring Ann back in, and I'm gonna bring Quincy in as well. And we're gonna talk about this. I know you've seen and there's been some small splinters where there have been a lot of black men who have been going over to either the Trump side or going to the independent side. And a lot of it because a lot of black men feel disenfranchised. We feel like this Democratic Party has not been speaking to us. This Democratic Party has had a chance to rally us in for a while, and they just have been missing the mark. What do you think that is? Why do you think they're missing that mark?
Well, I think a lot of, the black male hasn't been, preached to, or hasn't been listened to. And so I think Trump is trying to, galvanize that vote. So, but at the end of the day, it's like all of the things that Trump has said about black people and people of color, that isn't enough for you to not go for him. I mean, it's just mind-boggling to me. I don't understand it. I mean,
because sometimes people just want attention, even if it's bad attention. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we know some people just, regardless of what Trump has said, if you give them a little attention and make them feel like, oh, you speaking to me specifically, you as we've been seeing as of late and recently, all that other shit goes out the door. And it's not just black men, that's black men, that's poor white men. That's like, because poor white men really feel like Trump is their champion, and Trump really speaks for them. And I'm like, that's the oddest thing, that he tricked them and believing he's their people. But like, he don't care about poor people, period. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He don't care about people in poverty, period. And I don't think, and so I want to talk to you about this. And in regards to messaging, I'm always talking about the issue with Democratic messaging. And I know one of the big issues is because Democrats are such a big tent party, y'all have too many people to please. Y'all have so many people to please. So you trying to round up the moderates, you're trying to round up the progressives, you're trying to round up the moderate conservatives, you're trying to round up the LGBTQ, you're trying to round up Black Lives Matter, and then you trying to, you know what I'm saying? And while you're doing that, you still trying to keep suburban white women. It's very hard to create singular messaging for all of that. But because of that, the Republicans have been able to have bumper sticker messaging for years now, and it's been working. How do we fix that? How do you get the Democratic Party to fix the messaging? Because I do agree, like you said, the messaging, there was no way that Trump showing a little leg should be enough to get black men to go over there and vote.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a reason it is. Like, there's a reason that is so, and there's a reason that people are going over there and blaming everything on the Democratic Party and afraid to speak against the Republican Party in the same instance. It's like the weirdest phenomenon. Like, me and Quincy have been dealing with this the last few days. I'll be like, okay, cool, yeah, the Democrats fucked up there. Okay, now what about what Jeff Sessions is doing right now with mass incarceration? Like, and almost to a man, they will not respond to it. They won't talk about it. They won't say they won't talk shit about it. Like we even seen it with Ice Cube in a lot of the interviews where he'll be like, Democrats got to get together. They're like, okay, cool, that's cool, but what about what the Republicans doing? And then he'd be like, I mean, what they doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's a whole different kind of energy. So
it's a lot of ignorance, to be honest with you. It's just like with the whole Ice Cube situation. I mean, April Ryan had a conversation with him and she said, like, gosh, you still don't know half the stuff that people have done. You're speaking on a topic that you really don't have the experience to speak on. So now you're out here pumping Trump. Come to find out his business partner is a big Trump supporter. So you got to wonder, well, why are you out here pumping this man up who totally isn't for Black people? What are you saying? It's just cross mixed messaging. But again, it goes back to education. I think this election has brought about everyone's sense of doing their own research. No matter what, you need to do your own research. Take the time to really read up on candidates and what their platforms are and ask the questions. If you don't get involved, then just shut the hell up. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring up the April Ryan because I think all of us, and probably in all the past shows, have brought up that April Ryan interview specifically because I think that was one of the times where I saw that she was really trying to help him.
Yeah,
she was really trying. Like she wasn't trying to jump on him. She wasn't trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like she was really trying to help him. And I seen this cognitive dissonance from him in that interview. That was the first thing that gave me pause. Where I was like, okay, he's not really listening because she's really trying to give him some game. And I don't think she was trying to embarrass him. I don't think she was trying to sun him or nothing like that.
Right.
And I still don't think it was being received today. Jamal Lew said it's not the messaging. I'm interested to see what he thinks. I think it's the messaging because a lot of the people I've spoken to, and I'll let Quincy take it after this. A lot of people I've spoken to literally have false information. Like the talking points they've been giving me has been like false information, and it's been stuff that it's either false or it's been extremely taken out of context, or it's been talking points with no context. But Quincy, give me a bit of what you've been saying and speak to what we're speaking to in regards to this this duality that's going on right now.
I think Ice Cube is a prime example. What's kind of wrong with the Democrats and Black folks and with their relationship. Every 4 years, we decide we want to communicate with one another.
Right.
And so because you decide to communicate with one another every 4 years, Ice Cube come forward with all this information, not knowing there's actually bills that's in the Senate with the stuff that he's presented. Now, part of that, you could say that's on the Democrats too, because
we should know about those bills.
Right.
Yeah, this can't be every 4 year relationship. The messengers have to be continuous. See, they try to move like the Republicans, and you can't do like the Republicans. The Republicans, every 4 years, they come up, hey, these motherfuckers trying to take over America. Right. Oh, they they could do that. But like you said, because it's so many, it's such a big tent party, the messaging have to be continuance. It just can't be Obama presidency is a prime example of that. That's how Obama ended up with a Republican Senate 6 years of his 8 years, because we came out, boom, 2008, we there. 2010, we didn't show up for the midterm. Now the Republicans take over the Senate. 2012, we back out again. The next midterm, we stay home. It has to be a continuous relationship from both sides for this to actually work. Because what I did was I said, how did Black people get the Democrats to kind of move like they wanted to in the 1960s? It wasn't an every 4 year relationship. It was an ongoing, continuous relationship.
Yeah.
And we was really applying pressure then. But
at the same time, a lot of our leaders were also pushing the power of the ballot.
Yeah, but also they understood, like I tell people all the time, Kennedy didn't want to pass the Civil Rights Act in his first term because he basically told Dr. King, look, if I pass this in my first term, it won't be a second term. But you know, but what Lyndon Johnson understood is what black people is the biggest minority group in the country at the time. So he understood if we could get the black votes, you can have that continuance of a Democratic president, Democratic Senate, Democratic House for 8 years. And when you look at, that's when most of our favorable progression, our bills were passed, our Voting Rights Act, our Civil Rights Act, because they understood their leverage. Because with Dr. King, they're like, look, if you could do this for us, you get black people behind you, we the biggest minority group, you'll probably win. Mm-hmm. And they understood their leverage, but the relationship was continuous. It wasn't this every 4-year deal.
Yeah,
which is now that's kind of the issue. It's an every 4-year relationship. Okay, because my thing with Ice Cube is, I always said this. I don't have an issue with the idea. It's the execution, because I would have preferred for him last summer, the primaries. Boom, we got this contract. We're gonna jump on it, and then let them battle it out in the primaries over this. You don't wait till Trump is the opposition to now want to play chicken, because now the alternative is deadly for us. And so to me, that's the biggest thing that has to change. And hopefully this is not every 4-year black people requesting thing from the Democrats decide they want to come talk to this. This has to be an ongoing, continuous thing. If there's one thing we can learn from the civil rights era, that's what they did. And to the point, they got to a point to where they understood till they got behind Robert Kennedy, who I felt would have been much better president for black people than his brother. And black people was getting behind. It's like, okay, we actually fit a role with him, because you remember it was Robert Kennedy as the AG that was sending the FBI down there to protect black kids going to white schools and all that. So that's who black people got behind, to the point he started running for president. Because I was telling somebody the other day, I don't think we ever recovered from 1968. We
haven't recovered from slavery.
But particularly with politics in 1968, because we had Dr. King was killed that April. Mm-hmm. They was pushing for Robert Kennedy to most likely be the next president, and then he was killed that June. And when you see from that point on, the relationship between black people and Democrats was never the same from that point on. Our relationship became an every 4-year relationship,
right?
From that point on. And to me, that's the part that have to change. It have to be an ongoing relationship. It's like any relationship. You just can't sit up there, you married and y'all talk every 4 years. That shit ain't gonna work.
Right.
Yeah. And that's a great point. Go ahead, Rob.
No, but I kind of want to say that Trump was a necessity to actually facilitate the renewed energy to take those steps.
Yeah. 100%.
Because if he didn't come along and Hillary was in, it would have been status quo. We would not have, right? We would have been like, everything is great, blah, blah, blah. We got this, and this. Like, literally everything that can go wrong that we've been experienced has been exposed to the point now it is visible. No one can say that there isn't systematic, I can never say that word, systemic racism, because it is out front and center. No one can say, there is, cops aren't, harassing black. It's out for it. You can't, there's no denying any of the shit in which we've been saying.
Trump denying it.
But Trump
and everybody around him is that.
But at the same time, they're giving him like fabricated reports to cater to his ego, to cater to his bubble. But outside, look at the numbers in which people are voting. When the protests and everything that were going on, Dame, you and I spoke about that, in which we said this is different from the simple fact the number of white people that we saw in the crowds.
Yeah, hugely different.
Nationwide, and to the point where it was global.
Well, because this was the first time we weren't the only ones outraged, right? Like all the other times that, you know, all the way going back to Trayvon Martin, it seemed all the way back then we were the only ones outraged. And I think after George Floyd, because of COVID, everybody being in the house, everybody not being able to escape and literally having to sit in front of your TV and watch what happened to that man for 8 minutes and 47 seconds. That is why I think you had a nation say, "Oh shit, this is a problem." And I hate that it came to that, but that's kind of what happened. But I want to
But Dan, real quick, I want to piggyback on that point right there. That's what happened. That's what happened in the 60s. It was a lot of people didn't believe racism was as bad as they thought it was until Dr. King was like, "Hey, have the news there when we cross that bridge."
Mm-hmm.
And when people saw black people getting the shit beat out of them on TV, that's when folks really started to believe like there's a problem.
Yeah.
And to Mars's point, I think somebody like Trump had to be, because white people don't catch the subliminal racism.
Right.
We catch that. Like white folks don't really catch it. But it took somebody for Trump to make it so fucking obvious to now. I've never heard so many white people actually admit to white privilege.
Right.
Like never before. Like they admit to white privilege, systemic racism. Like I've never really heard that. And then we saw like people was protesting in all 50 states. That's like unheard. Hell, they didn't even have that in the civil rights era.
Yeah,
So,
we never had that.
They had little white kids protesting.
Dude, they protested in Idaho. Idaho has. Let me tell you something. Idaho, every retired racist cop retired and moved to Idaho. Idaho is like the spot for like the biggest white nationalist convention happens in Idaho. So when I saw Black Lives Matter in Idaho, which is 90% white, I was like, damn, it's for real. But it just shows that people have to. They needed someone like Trump to be so obvious. I told somebody it's like equivalent to if Governor George Wallace back in the day would have became president.
Yeah,
I mean, we had an older white man. You remember the chief when the chief came on? The chief is 80 years old, and we asked him to compare Trump to somebody, and he told us George Wallace.
Yeah. Oh, I want to go to Jamal's comment real quick. He said, I think it's every policy, gun control, Medicare, the idea of government handouts over community investments, the BLM organizations ideal to destroy the nuclear family. It's the whole platform. Okay, so Jamal, that's messaging if you were the Trump supporter. I'm talking about messaging for people who are Democrats, because most people who are Democrats don't have a problem with gun control. They actually don't have a problem with Medicare for all. Like, Medicare for all is actually 70%. Polls show that it's polling at 70% that people want Medicare for all. And even the plan that we have that Biden will have will be Medicare for all with a private option. So that's not a problem. That's not an issue. The idea of government handouts over community investments, I don't agree with that, because if you look at the Democratic platform, because you're trying to say socialism in another way. Like basically you're trying to find another way to say socialism. But community investments, I'm going to ask you again, because we had this conversation before. What community investments have you ever seen? You grew up in the hood just like me. When have community investments done? Like, when have they put in enough community investments, even when Republicans were in place, and stopped government handouts that help? So that's like some fairy tale shit you keep saying that has never existed, has never happened, has never been done in this country. The BLM organization is not the Democratic platform. It's just not. Like the Black Lives Matter organization is a different thing than people saying Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
I think
Trump did that. Did that.
I think most intelligent people understand that. So again, like the points you're making is if somebody was trying to convince a Trump supporter. I'm talking about trying to convince somebody who would usually vote for the Democratic Party that's starting to be swayed to the Republican Party. But a lot of those things you named are things that people on the left actually care about. I mean, community invest in itself. All right, like let me ask you this, Jamal. How the hood gonna invest in itself, my dude? Like tell me where that money come from. Tell me where impoverished people can invest in themselves. Get back to me and let me know.
But Dan, real quick, I think one of the things and we talked about this, is with the Democrat Party and black men specifically, is us being a lot of people, like you said, are one issue voters, and a lot of that is related to criminal justice.
Mm-hmm.
So what a lot of black men see, they see Kamala was a former prosecutor, district attorney, attorney general. Joe Biden is responsible for the crime bill, and that's what they lock in on. They don't look at the context of it. I mean, a lot of people. I made a post to show that the 3 strikes law was actually something people in California voted on. A lot of folks didn't even know that was something that was voted on.
Yeah.
A lot of folks was like, wait a minute. They just thought Biden passed the bill. That was the law. And folks started. No, folks actually voted on that. So, but like Ann was saying, a lot of folks don't educate themselves to even try to find that out, to even know that. Like a lot of folks don't even know a lot of the issues that they had with the crime bill. Obama administration repealed, tried to correct it, and Trump and Jeff Sessions brought that shit right back. So like I posted articles that private Obama tried to get rid of private prisons. Private prisons are blossoming under Trump. His administration is actually backing up private prisons in a lawsuit against California because California banned private prisons. And private prisons is suing California, and Trump administration is backing up private prisons. So,
real quick, hold on, real quick. I just want to say thank you to Ann. She had to hop off, but thank you to Ann Lambert for joining us. Ann, I know you got to get out of here, but I want to say thank you for coming. I want to say thank you for having this conversation with us and being so candid. We really appreciate it. Like, I really feel like I got to speak to somebody from the inside. You know what I mean? So keep doing what you're doing. Keep pressing. Keep being progressive. And as you run and as you continue to go higher and higher, we want to be here with you. We want to be here to support. And good luck on the race. And I hope we get to talk to you after the race when you win your election.
Thank you so much, you guys. And definitely I'll be back on the show when I'm an elected councilwoman. I promise you that. So you guys have a great evening. I got to run.
All right, God bless.
Thank you so much.
But I want to speak to this point that Ms. Butler, I can't pronounce her first name.
John Tulawana. I know her since elementary. That's how I know how to produce it.
She said after 92 riots, there was community investment, job growth, and government jobs happen. That's the part no one talk about, because we actually talked about how black people, like home ownership, blossomed under Clinton's presidency. But that's what happens when you're only a one issue voter. Mm-hmm. You don't look at things completely in its totality. You lock in on that one issue, and that's all you look on. Because we even find out through April Ryan that Bill Clinton had the most black people at the table. She was asked out of all the presidents, what president had the most black people at the table? She said President Clinton.
Yeah.
And so a lot of folks don't know that. So, but that's what happens. That's why every time Trump addressed black issues, is coming from a criminal justice standpoint. Mm-hmm. Because that's the only issue we focus on, which that's not the only issues we have. We have more issues than criminal justice reform.
Great point indeed. All right, so now let's get into this California election, the California ballot, real quick. Is there anybody in particular that you guys want to see win on this ballot? Let's do that instead of going, because there's a lot of people in this ballot. California is pretty big. Is there anybody you would say? Hold on, got another comment. Let's keep this thing going. I love when the people talk. Black communities aren't crippled. I know people who came out of the hood, made some money, came back and bought a property and gave people jobs. I'm sure we all know people like that. You think the 60% Biden wants from those people would be more helpful than that person's current value is? Well, the people that you're talking about that's going to get taxed at the 60% rate are people like Amazon, who have made millions and millions of dollars and ain't pay no taxes. Like, and that's a small percentage. Like,
he said, if I'm not mistaken, he said people that's making $400,000 and above.
Yeah, 400,000 and above.
So there's 60% of people that are making 400,000 above.
No, he talking about the 60% tax rate.
Oh, okay.
He said there's supposed to be a 60%, even though it's not a 60% tax rate for everybody. And also, we know, because we are all businessmen and businesswomen, there are so many ways when you're in actual business that you can get skirted out of taxes. Nobody's really going to pay that 60%. They just going to pay more than they paying now. Like I said, Amazon has made billions and billions of dollars over COVID and paid $0 in taxes. The NFL has paid $0 in taxes. I don't have a problem with those people paying taxes.
Donald Trump, $0 in taxes. How about that?
You want to talk? You want to speak to this, Ron?
Sorry about that. I would, but I mean, as we know, my guy is just a troll. I mean, let's let it be. I think, I mean, at a certain point, we can only speak so much. We don't have enough to speak as if we're the 60% that's going to get taxed in this equation. So that this should be the least of our comments on economics. I mean, at some point, we don't have enough. And when people say things like, well, I know people who came out the hood and did, well, give us the full story. I mean, are these the same people who inherited some property? You know, their father passed, who happened to have an apartment on the east side that they were able to sell and leverage to get some sort of capital with a bank. You know, there's usually more to these stories.
Or is that the vast
especially
majority?
The dudes that pull themselves up from the,
or is that
you
the
know,
vast,
by their
yeah,
bootstraps.
But or is that the vast majority of people who get investments? Because you look, let's take Crenshaw. Let's take the Crenshaw, the Crenshaw, what they call it, the Crenshaw Rejuvenation Project, right? Like, they had a lot of black-owned businesses over there, but they are leasing from white people. You know what I mean? Like let's talk about even those places like that, like where that Buffalo Wild Wings is, where Hotville Chicken and all of that stuff is. Those are people who made money, came back to the hood. They're tenants. Just like a lot of people in Lamerick who actually have money and actually have bread.
You're correct.
And they're tenants. And that's not even again, those few people you're talking about, are you talking about the exception? You're not talking about the rule. If the rule is going to have more people paying higher percent taxes, which is going to help with healthcare, which is going to help with childcare for people in that, because I think that if the taxes is going to childcare for people who got kids from 0 to 4 years old, I'd rather see that, because you can't depend on the people who are going to invest in the community. That's not a guarantee. There's no guarantee that if somebody makes money, they're coming back to invest. Like that's not a, so even by his
correct.
You know what I mean? But even if you go by his scenario,
it's like gambling.
There's no guarantee.
You win Vegas, they're not
There's no guarantee that person comes to the hood and puts money in back into their community. It's just not. And I can name a ton of places where black people have got money, done business down here in the hood, but all their money goes to the valley. I'm not gonna say no names on the air, but a lot of their money, they tax money and all that, it goes to the valley. So it's not like they can enrich the schools in this neighborhood, because those tax dollars and that money don't come to this neighborhood. It goes to their kids who going to Bishop. What is that place? Quincy. Okay. Say hi.
She said the school you gonna send me to.
Right. But you understand what I'm saying? So
Sierra Canyon.
So, Sierra Canyon. So even by his by his scenario, there's no guarantee that that's what's going to happen. And you're saying we would have to have every single black person who made out the hood, made some money, will have to come back and do that in order for that scenario to work. It can't be like one or two, a couple of them. It will have to be like all of them will have to come back to make
we don't even like each other like
to make a real dent. They all would have to come back. So I would rather we get through taxes so you can implement some of these plans that'll actually help people in the neighborhoods. That's my take. In regards to this, in regards to this this election, man. I know you've been following along, Quincy. What is it looking like to you? What do you see, and what are some close races we need to pay attention to?
Well, you know, I know at this point they said Hillary was winning Wisconsin by like six points, and when I looked yesterday, they said Biden was up by 17. So they when What you don't see that you saw in 2016 is that the gap was closing at this point. Between Hillary and Trump.
Right.
The gap is not.
Hadn't the Benghazi
that came out 11 days.
Come out, Quincy?
Yeah, so that would be like last week,
right before,
week before, when the email, when Comey announced that he was reopening up the email investigation. So that was 11, 12 days before. It seemed like the whole scare tactic about not accepting absentee ballots backfired on Trump.
Because everybody went out to the ballot box.
Yeah. Like already 60 million people have already voted. So they said that Harris County, where Houston, Texas is located, that the amount of people that have voted up until this point is almost close to the capacity that voted, period, in 2016. So people that backfire, but like you mentioned earlier, there are states that are close that shouldn't be close, like Georgia, like Texas.
Right.
Biden is actually winning Arizona. I don't know when the last time
it's going to be a landslide. Watch, I'm telling you.
I don't know when the last time.
Because the demographics have changed in Arizona. Arizona is changing its color because of all of the flight from California. You have a bunch of people who've sold like $1 million homes and just went to go ball out. You could just ball out over there with like 300,000 on.
But also that's also
so that changed the demographic
migration.
That's also John McCain's town.
Yeah,
and
the
disrespect that he has seen, the fact that John McCain's wife have came out and endorsed Biden is huge. But it looked like not most important, but also important. It looked like Democrats is about to win that Senate seat. So there's 3 Senate seats that I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win Arizona, Colorado, and Maine. They need one more. If they get one more, they will have the majority. A 3 would be a tie, and the vice president would be the tiebreaker. So if they was to vote on something and it turned out to be a tie, the vice president breaks the tiebreaker. That actually happened with Pence earlier this year, where Pence was the tiebreaker when the Senate had a tie. So, and then, with Jamie Harrison, he still is like a dead heat down there in South Carolina. Lindsey Graham still coming on TV whining and crying for money.
Some money.
For money. But they are like, dude, this has been the most blatant. I wasn't around in the 60s, but this is the most blatant voter suppression shit I've ever seen. Like, they are not sugarcoating it. They are literally trying to stop people. And if they're not paying attention, that shit that Kavanaugh said about
we ain't accepting that shit. Like, he basically said we ain't accepting that shit.
Yeah, like so it's it's looking good, but I still, people. I was telling Chandra earlier today. I said I think I kind of know what happened with the 2016. That's something we don't really discuss. Is that I think people got voter complacency. I mean, poll complacency. People saw the polls and was like, "Oh, you know what? She gonna win," and then go out. And
Trump fucked that all up.
Yeah.
Shit. It's like shit.
Yeah,
we're gonna stomp his throat in the ground.
Yeah. But see, I think Chandra made a good point earlier in one of our conversations. She was saying Republicans just should have left it like it was. Like, don't come out with the obvious voter suppression. Just come out. Just do the little discreet shit.
Be the dirty little motherfuckers you want.
Yeah. People get poll complacent, and then don't turn out to vote. Because I was telling her that's how Lyndon Johnson actually was a strategy he did, because he was afraid that people wasn't going to come out because they were showing he had this big lead, and so he started telling folks that he was losing. He's like, no, fucking polls, like I'm losing. So people really came out, and so I was telling her, I said that's why Biden campaign is downplaying the polls, because I think that's what happened in 2016. That people got poll complacency. Like, oh, you know what, Hillary up by 10 points. We all because polls ain't voting. That's just people.
Right. Their predictions of
yeah, exactly. And I think that had a big part of what happened in 2016. But right now, it's looking like they might gain some more House seats. They're gonna look like they're gonna win 3 Senate seats. They got 2 more. I'm gonna tell you right now, if right away, if Trump loses Florida,
it's a wrap. If he loses
Pennsylvania or Ohio, it's gonna be. He needs all 3. Like he can't win like 1 and lose the other 2. If he lose Texas or Georgia, it's a wrap. Like he basically at this point got to bat 100.
Yeah,
because right now, it's not looking. The fact that like we said, that Texas is blue, Georgia is a battle state now. But right off the bat, if he don't win, well, obviously if he don't win Texas, is a wrap. Because
you're gonna start a war. Shit, you're gonna start a war. Like, let's bomb somebody.
But because the East Coast votes come in a little earlier, we probably gonna know pretty early next Tuesday if he's gonna win or not.
By dinner time.
No president, no Republican has won the presidency without winning Florida or Ohio.
Yeah,
so,
and like you said, he got about 1,000.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What'd you say, Sheila?
I'm putting too much weight on these votes. I'm really not hyped about any of this until I see what the Electoral College is going to do. Because we can win all over the place. You have some states who have entered the agreement where they're saying, hey, however our popular vote goes, we're going to give our electoral votes. But that's not even really half of the states in this country that have made that agreement. So this all sounds good and sounds cute, but I'm not breathing. I'm not exhaling until I see what these electoral college votes are.
Most of that they have the
If that happened, a fucking civil war is gonna break out.
Yeah, they have consequences They have consequences for that where they can, because that's what he's banking on. He's banking on going to those electors. Hillary Clinton is an elector for New York. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, I did.
Out today, Bill Clinton was one, but my internet is messing up. So if I'm coming off weird, just
you good. You actually, this is the best you've been. So
okay. So I just wanted to. I was doing some research on why we would or would not know by how they call the states, basically, because a lot of it, like Sheila said, not trusting the polls, because people go out and say I voted for this person and they didn't. I think that happened a lot with Trump. A lot of it is what they do with voting patterns. A lot of it is what they do based on what the voters are registered as and how many numbers come in. So basically, like Quincy said, he has like a 1 in 100 chance of like everything has to, like, all the stars have to align for him. Now, again, we know they cheat, so it's possible. But at the end of the day, basically how we'll know is, let's just say if 100 people vote in a place and they know who's registered as this and who's registered as that, they would have to say, well, let's say 75 people voted for Biden. He would have to get all the votes in order for that state to be called. So that's how they call it. But what they did was they didn't anticipate as many early votes as they did. They were thinking it would be more absentee. So there's a lot of absentee. But right now we're already at 52% of the votes, the early votes from 2016. We're already at 52% with about a week to go.
Yeah.
So That's
and like
what,
Quincy said, I don't think this many people turn up because they want shit to stay the same.
that's what I've been saying. Like people are not waiting. People are not waiting in line for 10 hours because they like what Trump is doing.
Right.
But like Sheila said too, though, and I'm glad Biden. I think your approach is the approach that everybody's kind of taking. Nobody's breathing easy. I don't think anybody is like
the Democrats are not.
I think Biden has really been like, I seen him speak. I watched his speech at Georgia today, and Biden was like, "Yes, I know they say we up in the polls." He like, but don't worry about that. I need y'all to come out and vote. Like, I think most people are very clear. Like, we were up in the polls last time, and even though we know that Hillary made some detrimental mistakes, she got hella arrogant down the stretch.
Yeah,
I don't think Biden's making that same mistake that Hillary made down the stretch.
Yeah, I was telling Chandler earlier today is that Democrats have 2016 PTSD. Like
we all do. We all do.
And so, but I was telling her like the biggest difference. Something I found out is Donald Trump.
Sydney.
Donald Trump was the #1 most unpopular presidential candidate. Can you guess who #2 was?
Hillary.
Yeah,
Bush?
Hillary. So,
wow.
so it's a different beast. Biden is a lot more.
He's a lot more popular, and he's been popular.
He's a lot more popular, and I think a lot of that had to do with Hillary arrogance. Mm-hmm. That's why in my blame pod, I don't think it was just one thing. It was for Trump to become president, it had to be a complete breakdown of a lot of things happening, and that's exactly what happened. But
this is the final quarter of 2020, so.
Yeah, so
I mean, this nigga might go out with a bang.
I did read a poll.
Biden better not be the Falcons. That's all I say.
Don't let that in.
You gotta keep in mind that's a possibility.
Man, get that prevent defense out of here.
But I did read an article today that said he has been more popular since Trump. His popularity has been higher than Trump since 2019. So we're talking about for a whole year and before COVID.
What the crazy, I told somebody, I said, the crazy scenario, if this motherfucker get reelected and the Democrats have the House and the Senate, he ain't gonna be president no more than fucking 2 days.
But let me ask y'all this too. Speaking of which, so let me ask y'all this, because this is something that I've been pondering for myself. If Biden gets the nomination, and we do what we're supposed to do, and Democrats, independents, we give him the Senate and the Congress that he needs to make the moves he makes, and he doesn't make those moves or doesn't do like Ron said, at least would you say 50%, Ron? 50 to 60%?
Give me 30%.
Okay, so we don't get 30% of what we asking. What's the next move? What's the next move, black folks?
You know what? At minimum, first of all, my belief is that whoever, once he gets in, because I'm putting that in the universe, I'm just gonna believe it.
Once he gets in,
I'm going old black church lady right now. He's in. This is November 4th, and he's in. At minimum, they need to address those bills that are on the floor, because that's your 30%, Ron. That's your 30% right there. Yeah. Those things that are already there that they've been overturning, right. That's your 30%. And if y'all can't do that.
And that's not so much on Biden right there. That would be on the House and the Senate.
Exactly.
To get that done.
Yeah.
I tell you the truth, I think what you do, you put pressure on this goddamn light.
You got to put pressure on the light.
I think you put pressure on your elected official. That's why you put people in your Senate, in your House. You go tell that motherfucker like pretty much where we criticizing Republicans of not doing. If it's anybody that could put pressure on Trump, it's the Republicans in the House and the Senate, but they won't do it. It's So the people who we placed, Karen Bass, all these folks we have,
Maxine Waters.
That's what we elected them for. Like, you go to that motherfucker.
Y'all tell them what we want.
This is what we want, or we won't vote for your ass no more.
But wait,
like that's pretty
no
much
more Auntie Maxine.
Hell no, she ain't gonna.
if she ain't doing
Yeah, like
Hey,
that's
you know
why.
she want to be loved here. She want to be loved
Everybody
here.
Yeah,
So you know,
but
We
she's a
divorced
California
anyway.
representative.
that's right.
I mean, we putting people in the Senate for 30 and 40 years. Look, the president ain't doing what he's told her he was gonna do. You need to put pressure on his ass to do it, or we're gonna have to vote you out.
Yeah.
What do you got? Did you guys? I know we didn't talk about the last election, but did you hear when oh my gosh, I can't remember, but it was one question where they were asking, I don't remember who they were asking, but Biden's answer was like Republican Congress. Like, oh, why Obama didn't do stuff back then? And he was like, we had a Republican Congress. That's my answer. And then Trump was like, well, you got to talk them into it. You got to make them do it. How much influence do you think the president has on their Congress and their Senate to get them to like come together? Like, hey, y'all, look, we got, because I agree, we do need to hold their feet to the fire. Like that comment
Ain't
said.
that the whip's job though?
Say that one more time.
Yeah, that's the whip's job. The whip's job is to show them what you're gonna benefit from. So if you don't do this, hey, my president ain't saying nothing. This is my job.
Right.
I'm gonna speak for him. If you don't do this, we ain't doing that. So
Well,
you
yeah,
figure it out.
that's what I'm saying.
You know, you need to have a good whip. As long as he has a good whip in
I
place.
just need the level of petty from the Democrats that we've just been facing.
Yes.
At least I need at least 4 years of it. I need it like I don't care what y'all
Hey,
talking about.
hey,
We're not
hey,
passing
hey,
nothing.
hey,
I don't
hey,
need
Schumer.
with benefits. We're not passing nothing. Like I need them to be up in there, that gangster. Like, oh, what is this? Oh, Republican? Yeah, put that over there. So next, like,
But the difference is they're trying to speak for everyone. The Republicans only speaking for rich white men. The Democrats are trying to speak for poor people. So you really can't speak to poor people and be like, I'm not going to do something that's going to benefit my contingency. You know.
Yeah.
Because the thing that we keep missing in terms of the Democrats is that a lot of these people representing us are still rich people.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're fighting against people who are still giving them tax cuts. A lot of the stuff that Trump is doing to benefit wealthy people are benefiting them as well. So you're only going to have people who are fighting so hard for you when it's something that would personally cost them. That's something that we don't think about. It don't matter what they say. At the end of the day, they benefit from some of this stuff.
But do a political purge.
My sentence. You guys have talked a lot this time. Let me finish my sentence and then you can have it. The thing that I'm saying is different is
audacity.
Never mind. Go ahead.
We just messing with you.
Go ahead.
I forgot what I was about to say.
Go on, finish that, Queen. We want to hear what our queen has to say.
Ooh, ladies first. Ladies
no,
first.
I literally forgot.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. That's a good.
Go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just saying. I mean, she's right though. I mean, you know, at some point we have to have some accountability, and I think we're gonna get that this term. So I mean, I'm like Shan. I'm gonna speak some positive stuff into the universe. I think with the black women we have behind Biden, we're gonna speak that black people are gonna stay engaged, because guess what? Uncouth gonna make sure black people stay engaged throughout the next 2 years when it's time to vote for different senates and different House seats and things like that. And once we give the people that are in place the power to do what they need to do, they're gonna do what they say they're gonna do.
And but to
if
Sheila's
not,
point,
we're gonna go a different direction.
Yeah, and to Sheila's point though, she's right. Like I think it's gonna take some of what Quincy was saying and what Sheila's saying, right? Some of what Quincy's saying, like, yo, if y'all don't give us the things we need, we actually gonna vote y'all asses out of here. Like, y'all not gonna be back. And then some of what Sheila's saying is like, we know y'all benefit from this, so we gotta really press that. We on a grassroots level, we gotta press that issue, right? You know what I'm saying? On a grassroots level, we gotta press the issue, because the things that, like, they get great health care, Republicans and Democrats. You know what I'm saying? They get bread.
Them motherfuckers on Obamacare.
Yeah, Maxine got a nice house. You know what I mean? Like so all of those things, like she said, the things that we asking them to fight for, it will actually affect them too now, because even though they're not Republican, they benefit from a lot of those Republican policies. So how do we get, how do we from a grassroots level get them to do the things that we need them to do? And I think that's what you were trying to say.
But
quarterly check-ins. I think we need to normalize having black town halls in every. I mean, what's the beautiful thing about the internet right now? We can communicate to people in all different kinds of communities to gather together. But I'm talking about every 3 months.
Yes.
I'm talking about if
Every
you know,
quarter. Yeah, that makes
hey,
sense.
where are we on this? This is what
Where
we're
are we
asking
at?
for.
Where are we at?
What's happening here?
But
Okay,
see-
what do we need to do about it? Now, if we're doing these quarterly check-ins and we're doing what we need to do and putting the pressure on them, by the time we get to this next midterm, we're going to know who's responding to us. And to Chandra's point,
Right. That's 20 check-ins over the next 4 years.
it's something that's
Yeah.
got to take a whole bunch of time. So by the time we get to this next midterm, if we are checking in with each other quarterly, making sure that we don't ever let that pressure up and stay on top of what our agenda is, we still have 2 years to plan what our next move needs to be, whether that means to break off and go to an independent party, if we need to buy into trying to, develop the Lincoln Project into an independent, who knows? We're powerful. We can do anything. But
I want to talk to you about that too.
2 year, then we'll know what our next move.
but-
We'll have time to plan it out.
Check, but see, you talk about me talking so much, but you wasn't listening because I was talking about the continuous relationship that have to happen.
I never said you didn't say that.
Between no, you making a valid point, but to both of y'all's point, if people like Maxine don't get in, what's wrong with us electing somebody like AOC? She was a waitress.
Yeah, somebody more progressive,
like Ann, who we just had on. Like, you don't have to be rich to run. And so what we need to start doing is start searching city council people for replacements. Like
good people. Should we start with just good people?
Like for instance, everybody mad at Dianne Feinstein, but this motherfucker been in our Senate since Herbert Hoover.
Yeah.
We people get we kind of allowed that.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff.
That's
even
on us.
Myself, like even myself, as much as I've been pissed off at Dianne Feinstein, I never really paid attention to see who she was running against.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to okay, you don't want to do it. We could bring somebody in. We could start looking
somebody else to do it.
But for somebody else to run, we could get behind and push and get some real people like AOC, somebody who fucking started her campaign basically from her living room.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to happen. I don't think it's a if. I think that is what's going to happen because you look at the age of some of these Democratic leaders, they're up there in age. The other thing is Biden's is going to be a one-term president. Yeah. So, and the one thing which I've been saying over and over, they have 18 months. They don't have 2 years. They don't have 4 years. The Democratic Party has 18 months to get shit in order. The fact of the matter that there are bills there, they already have a head start on the things in which they can do. If they can't do anything within the next 18 months for the primaries, they're going to lose a lot of the seats, especially since there are going to be a lot of Republicans that are going to be up for the primaries. If they can't, if you as a community, as the locals don't have confidence in the Democratic Party, when you, let's say, knock on wood, they get control of everything and they're not doing what is done, you've now opened up the door for the Republican parties to come back in and say, well, I didn't do such and such, so I'm here. I've learned from my mistakes. So this is what I'm promising. 18 months. That's all they have.
Yeah.
The other thing that we've said, again, I firmly believe that they're going to be utilizing this time to build Kamala's portfolio.
They have to.
Trump did kind of expose that. He talked about her being president more than he do
Yes.
Biden.
I've heard that.
I want to respond to this from Casey Lynette. She said at 45 loses, what's left for him to destroy from now to January 20th?
Hey, Chandra.
Everything.
Just for his personal agenda.
It's just executive orders, right?
Are you?
Yeah,
Could be just executive orders, or can he affect laws between then and then?
Well, he got a Supreme Court, so he can affect laws.
Hey,
now,
dang, hold up, Chandra. What did I tell you Trump was going to do if he loses?
Start a war.
No, I said
down.
I said he's gonna act like a nigga that's been evicted, and he's just gonna fuck the apartment up. He's gonna put holes in the wall.
He's gonna turn the water on.
He's gonna turn the water on. He gonna do all type of reckless shit.
The water,
Well,
the heat, and the AC.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is that the Republicans are already doing that. The reason why they don't want to give out the stimulus, which was kind of revealed, is that they want to fuck up the economy because they're already under the pretenses that Biden's going to win. They
I'm
want to
gonna
hand
say,
him
but
a
that they
fucked up
messed
economy.
themselves up. They messed themselves up with
They
not
hurt
the
themselves
stimulus.
up with
Yeah,
that,
they hurt
yeah.
themselves with that because now they said with them not doing that for the stimulus, they're gonna lose even more seats come midterms
Yes,
because
because people are mad. People are mad that they pushed her through unqualified and whack, and they're not even caring about the American people. Like they haven't tried. They haven't tried
let me
to do
speak to
that.
this. My path is accountability. I'm accountable for my community, and everyone in it should feel the same. You're holding people accountable for your community that have never been there. I don't know who you're talking about, but if we're
Just
talking
put my
about elected,
response. Yeah, just put my response.
yeah, but if you're talking about
Just
elected
go to the
officials,
next.
no, I'm going to address this. If you're talking about
You
personal
heard
accountability,
Ron's response for me.
yeah, if you're going to talk about personal accountability, I don't think nobody on this panel has said we are against personal accountability. So that's a straw man. There's a way to have personal accountability and still want to hold your legislative powers to feet to the fire to do legislative things because I don't know if you, I don't know if you don't understand this. No matter how accountable Black people are for themselves, if there's systemic racism, they're going to be things that our accountability aren't going to be able to overcome. Period. So go somewhere with that. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps bullshit because we got to have bootstraps first.
Yeah, and that's all I was telling them. Is just by you saying everyone should feel the same kind of speaks to a me, and maybe what you guys are speaking on Ice Cube. You know, it's I want to win my way, and at some point we got to get over this winning my way shit.
Well, my thing is, I don't understand why people think if you say we want to hold the people who legislate for us responsible, automatically means that we don't believe in personal accountability. I don't think there's anybody.
You're right.
There's nobody on this call who's sitting at home not doing nothing. There's nobody who's on this show who doesn't do things within their community. There's nobody who's not on the show who don't pour it back into their community. So I don't even understand this false pretense that if we say we want to hold elected officials to do their jobs, that means we don't have personal accountability or don't believe in accountability. But again, that's that dog whistle bootstraps bullshit. That's what it really is.
Right.
So,
I think that's just that's the dynamic between Republicans and Democrats is that Republicans try to pretend and make it seem like Black people or the contingency on the Democrat side doesn't want to hold itself accountable or doesn't want to provide for itself. If you don't understand the economics of not having shit to provide for yourself, then this conversation is mute. We don't have shit to put ourselves in position to do the shit you're talking about.
But Ron,
you don't want to address that.
But you know, Ron, where it goes to, and I remember seeing this as a cop, and I used to hate when they used to do this shit. So we'll go to a call, right? And of course, we'll be dealing with some Black folks. And you know, you have some Black dudes like, you know, I can't get no job, no blah blah blah. And so the motherfuckers would point to me like, look at Quincy, he made it.
Yeah.
So what's yours to? And I used to hate that shit because you really think because I made it, everybody else, like we already know. I mean, because a lot of people don't really know. We already know the breaks that have to happen for me just to be a police officer.
I was going to say, you almost didn't make it.
Right.
I almost didn't make it. And my background investigator literally said, like, you was like the ideal perfect candidate, and they wanted to disqualify you just because of where you lived. So
right.
So so Damon China, they actually heard a background investigator said he had 50 Black qualified applicants to be cops, and they only chose one. So because they chose one, does that mean, well, he made it, so everybody else had a chance to make it?
No. Do that mean them other 49 wasn't being accountable for themselves?
Yeah,
even though the system didn't let them in to the job they was qualified for. That's why it's dumb.
Exactly, and that's the problem with it. With a lot of Black people who do make it, they come back with that. You know, well, I made it. You should be able to make it. Well, there was a break in there for you somewhere.
Right.
Somewhere, everyone has a break. Everyone.
There was a break in there for you somewhere that somebody gave you, and it's unfortunate because not every Black person get those same breaks.
Right. Look at it from a simplistic level. You could have something as simple as maybe, because we've seen it a trillion times. You could have two white people in a car. They could be smoking weed in the car. Cops pull them over. Who's going to jail? Nobody. Get a warning, get a slap on the wrist, you go about your day. Dame and Quincy can be in the same car. They both going to jail. They both have a drug offense on their record now. And this is going to affect the kind of jobs that they can get in the future. But all you want to do is look at them and, oh, y'all not doing what y'all have to do. There are way too many things in place that are leaving us disenfranchised.
I didn't smoke weed,
that
so
you just cannot
I
dismiss
made it.
and act like, oh, we're just not trying to do this. This stuff is in place on purpose to keep us oppressed, and we're just fighting against it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I was studying a case last night of a black man that's in Dallas, Texas, and it was mind-boggling. The judge said he was innocent, and he's still in prison for life.
The fuck?
Right.
because
Right. That lets you know it's like a trifecta against us.
Yeah. A judge literally said
Slavery.
he went to prison for something he didn't do. He was accused for murder. They found out that the police paid eyewitnesses, black men. Police paid eyewitnesses. So when the judge, so they retried the case. The judge said, "Hey, he's innocent. He's more likely to be innocent." They retried the case. This time they found him guilty and gave him life. They appealed it, used what the judge said, and the appeals court was like, "Yeah, but we need like DNA evidence. We just can't go by what the judge said." Like, this is the type of shit we're up against. Like, literally, this is the type of shit we're up against.
They've already rigged the laws. They rigged the police force, and then on top
And those
of that,
things have nothing to do with accountability.
Nothing.
Those things have nothing to do with us being personally accountable for ourselves.
That's a failed system, and I can't tell you how many times that's why we bump. Like, that's why I bumped head with my supervisors, because they look at this thing from a statistical standpoint. I don't think people realize that. So at the end of the month, they're bringing a police officer and they listing out your stats like you're a fucking baseball player. Like, oh, you had this many misdemeanor
felonies.
Yeah, like so the thing, the thing they got upset at me about is that he said, "Well, your felony arrests are down." Well, nigga, what you want me to go out there and do? Because
make people commit crimes.
Hey, I only arrest felons when people commit a felony. Like, it's not like I'm not driving around not doing nothing. I'm looking. I'm waiting for a call.
Quincy, you're not looking for the right places. You know where to look. You know where they hang out at.
So then, literally, I was told this in training. Literally, I want, no matter what, booking for the felony, because you get the felony stat. Well, let me tell you how that works. So I booked this person for the felony because I'm supposed to book this person for the felony knowing that the DA is going to drop the case or charge the person with a lesser crime, right? No, because now Ron's sitting in jail. Ron family don't have no money to get an attorney to get out. All Ron want to do is get the fuck out of jail. Well, Ron,
exactly.
We know you didn't commit the Ron know he didn't commit the felony, but if Ron goes to trial, Ron is facing 15 to 20 years. So, but Ron, you can take this 3 year. You can take this 3 year instead of going to trial and just do prison for 3 years. Ron takes the 3 years, but now guess what? Ron got a felony for armed robbery that he never committed.
Yeah,
and that's the
and I did school. I used to do school, but I knew 3 was better than 15 years. You know, that's what I did know. You know,
exactly.
I wasn't too sharp
because you can't you going in there with a public defender, basically, and you don't
1,000 cases,
and it's definitely not going to be a jury of your peers.
My peers, because we don't go to jury. We hide from jury.
Another thing,
exactly.
It's all these compounding things.
Exactly, and I can't tell you how. There was one time I really went down there and I told the detective, I said, "This kid didn't do it." I said, "I'm confident he didn't do it." He's like, "Don't worry about it. We're gonna take care." I said, "He didn't do it," and I told the family, I said, "Y'all gotta fight this." He didn't do it. I don't know what happened. The kid ended up taking the deal. Fucking 16-year-old ended up with a felony that he didn't deserve. Because the family, they don't know me. The only thing they knew is that you had a cop who was like, look, go to trial. I would testify that I don't believe he did it. But they're not going to take that risk because in the end, they didn't know
you may not show up.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't know.
Or Long Beach could fire me before the trial. Who knows? But that's the ongoing cycle. So it's my point. The point that I'm making, it's a flawed system, and when the system is up against you, it don't matter how many times. Yes, some people might make it out, but the majority is getting fucked.
Right.
That's the harsh truth.
But it's and then you look at where everybody tried to say, well, Obama didn't do anything. Well, I mean, he did try to do something about this, of course.
Right.
Your boy just rolled all of it right on back.
But
like Quincy always say, Sheila, you want to know what Obama did? Look at what Trump reversed.
Look at what Trump reversed.
If you think Obama didn't do nothing, look at everything Trump reversed, and you'll find out exactly what Obama did.
What people
was worse though.
It's slavery. It's modern day slavery.
Obama.
What's worse than what Quincy
send the word down that you guys need to give all these felonies because we have to keep these prisons full so that we don't get sued. And that is so raggedy. And of course, they're not going to put no fake felonies on no white people. They're coming to put them on us because they want us in there working and building baby strollers and junk for 11 cents an hour. Like people don't get that if we get rid of the private prisons, then that affects the way that we're apprehended. That affects the pressure of our states being sued for not keeping them at capacity. Like if you're trying to keep your prisons at capacity, then you're not solving any problems. Our prisons should be getting smaller and smaller. We should have fewer and fewer prisons. If we have to get more and more prisons, something is wrong with the way that we are trying to rehabilitate people. This is just common sense stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, the private prisons, somebody got to fill them up. So there's a deal somewhere. Somebody making a deal with somebody, whether it's a judge or somebody, like, hey, if you help me fill my prison up,
don't worry, we'll fill it up for you. Yeah, we'll fill it up for you.
I got you, Judge. Next time, your campaign needs some money.
What you think all of Trump's judges gonna do?
Exactly. But Ron, you was getting ready to make a point.
One thing I was just gonna say one thing we got to be more aware of is that we do condemn Obama for not doing something for Black folks, but what we got to do is in this term be more aware of the fact that okay, once we get our person elected, now we have to stay engaged and take that into the next step, which is getting the people behind him to back that. Let's do that. Let's try that route. Let's try staying engaged for the president. Let's stay engaged for the Senate. Let's stay engaged for the House and all of these different elections. And then let's make a determination. Okay, is it not working for us? We did what we were supposed to do. We got the president in. We got him the Senate that he needed. We got him this, and this. And now we've given him a plan that we want. Now, if you don't perform, okay, now we can look for another route. But we got to play this hand out. We're trying to end the game before the game is over.
It's something else that's not mentioned enough. Democrats abandoned Obama at one point.
Yep.
We should have made whoever didn't back him. We shouldn't have made them pay a price.
Right.
There's a lot of
never get reelected again.
There's a lot of Democrats who didn't back Obama when shit got a little rough. They abandoned him. They didn't back him, and that's how Republicans ended up with the House and the Senate. And there's a lot of them that's still there, and we should have made them pay a price because we can't. Because it's a shame that even as president, he wasn't exempt from the racism.
Yep.
And he dealt with that shit, and a lot of Democrats didn't back him. And we should have made their ass pay a price for that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Chandra, we behaved. Can we get a DM tonight?
Make it round
check.
Make it as ridiculous as possible.
In the DM.
Let's see how ridiculous I got. That ain't that ridiculous.
That ain't that ridiculous.
No, we need good and ridiculous to take us on into this election.
Something to choke.
Some Trump shit. Some shit.
Hey,
Three baby mamas.
Hey, panel. I was telling Chandra, I said, I bet you when Trump lose, like when Biden president, I bet you Trump still be holding rallies and shit.
Yeah,
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
At this point, like I said earlier, he separated Republicans from Trump supporters. So now Trump supporters is just a totally different.
Hell no, we won't go.
He gonna be running from jail like in 2024.
Which is great because Republicans want to get rid of him. Be honest with you. They said like a lot.
We need the Wildcat cheerleaders. You ugly.
Man, hey, it's gonna be off the chart. I was like, this motherfucker still gonna hold rallies. I bet you.
I think so.
Giving out COVID, he gonna give the gift.
Oh no, y'all about to mess up our DM.
All right. Our bad.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. My boyfriend cries every time we fight, and I'm mad at him.
Perfect.
He has encapsulated his emotions.
Is that the whole deal?
No.
Is that sign Medea?
But I guess it might be enough.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead and get it. That means it's good though. If we laugh like that at the top of it, that's a good one.
Hey, she has given a few where we just started laughing from the gut. Go ahead.
This is one. I'm sorry, Chan. Go ahead.
Okay, my boyfriend cries every time we fight, and I'm mad at him. I'm almost wondering if he does it on command. I'm not saying men shouldn't have emotions, but he's the one starting the fights in the first place. I refuse to have screaming matches. Nothing is solved that way. I've learned to be calm and control my emotions. But not only does he complain, he screams at me.
Y'all gonna break my streak. He's gay.
I knew it. I was waiting for it.
It's coming. It's coming.
I said, I prefer this one to Steelers.
I said that she married to Jennifer Holiday, nigga. Like what? What in the Dream Girls? He cried every time they argue.
He screams at me, and then
Police Academy.
He screams at me the whole time, and then he starts crying. When he cries, I end the fight because I don't want to see him continue to cry. It's almost as if he does it on command. What should I do?
Let me guess. These fights probably come right before it's time to have sex.
No, let me say this.
He's gay.
The reason this DM stood out to me. These are my confessions. The reason this DM stood out to me is because my ex was actually like that.
He used to cry all the time?
He will cry, like not during fights, because I didn't really fight, but he would cry, like he would get emotional and like cry. So like, and
do that talk to crows?
Yeah. Thank you, Quincy.
I'm about to say, how you gonna put all that personal?
But I've said it before, he knows. But yeah, he did see crows. Okay, that's another topic. That's the thing, we're getting it mixed up. So we will be talking and having a conversation, and he like get emotional. He like would start crying. Now, the first time he did it, we were in the middle of like Fridays. We were like eating nachos, and I was like,
"Who cries over nachos? No.
Who cries over nachos? Nachos are not. Nobody should be crying over nachos." I don't remember what we were talking about, but I think it was something sad because it kind of took me aback. But I was, it's very awkward when people cry. Like, what do? Do you hand them a tissue? Do you put your arm around them? Do you just kind of go to the bathroom? Like, what do you do? I was like eating the nachos, like
just get it out. Just get it out.
Chan, he was a serial killer though. I don't think he was gay. He was a serial killer.
He was a serial killer.
Oh, you think he was a psychopath?
Yeah,
he was a cancer.
Because so I was gonna say there is.
So he was a cancer. Yes.
I'm gonna say either.
His birthday was the same day as OJ's. His birthday was the same day as OJ's.
Boom! There you go.
Some cancer's a serial killer. Hey,
yeah, no. He
had facial hair,
but that
no cancer and no facial hair. It's like done deal.
I don't think he had facial hair, Ron. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think he had facial hair.
Oh man, we didn't profile him. This is the profile. This is.
Hey, Chandra, you got lucky. You made it out alive.
Oh my God, I made it out alive.
Man,
but he would cry. So then after the first time he did it, I was like, okay, maybe he's just a little bit emotional or whatever. Again, whatever. But then he would like do it I don't know if he was like trying to get sympathy or it was a lot. He cried a lot. He cried more than I did.
What was this relationship like with his mom?
Ted Bundy cried
Tell
a
us
lot.
more, Chandra. Exactly. Because them
I
serial
was
killers, they be the
27.
mothers.
It was 27 to 30. It ended when I was 30. But anyway, this guy, he cries a lot. So, all right. So as
Man,
a
3
female,
years.
we would like for me, I don't necessarily need a guy to be emotional. I just want him to communicate. I don't need you to be emotional. I just need you to communicate. What's going on? How do you feel? A lot of times when you communicate, it brings out emotions. So, maybe that crosses. So just kind of talk, just be communicative.
So just like Malcolm X communication or Ike Turner communication, because everybody communicates different.
Like that. Because I feel like if you can't control yourself from crying, I'm not saying men can't ever cry. Of course,
Me neither.
Horrible happens to you. I think
I cry watching John Q. So
I think men should feel very comfortable crying. But during a fight,
no, Sheila.
Fight where you
Sheila. Every fight.
Every fight.
Every fight.
Not some fights. Every fight.
To not cry in front of me, you probably lack the self-control to not murder me in the future. So
he's a good actor. He should have had his
correlation.
Did he have a SAG card?
But Sheila, for me, I'm saying
to me.
I get what you're saying. We say like I understand if a man cries because something very traumatic happens in life. Yes. But my issue with this whole DM, read the very first sentence, Chandra. Read the very first sentence.
Every time.
I think I deleted it because I delete them once I'm done. So I don't have to. I don't have to see them again because they be so stupid.
Okay, so I remember. You said
every time we argue, he cries.
I said my boyfriend cries every time we fight.
Stop.
Every time.
That's the whole
game over.
Every time, like nigga, you ate my Lucky Charms. I'm sick of this shit. I'm like, for real, like every time.
So that's why I can't give him serial killer, because she said he cries every time, and then she said he screams and yells.
Hey, dang! Hey, hold on.
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. I can't give him serial killer like that's a compliment.
So you think this is a tactic? You think this is a tactic to win the fight, to end the fight?
No. I think it's what Sheila said. I think her dude is gay, and he's probably used to being the effeminate one in the relationship. Honestly, like honestly speaking, because I don't know any man that just cries during every fight. Like maybe if y'all having one fight and things are super overwhelming, like you think you might be losing your girl, or you met like there are instances where I could see like we was fighting and
cinnamon apple.
But if you saying he cries before every fight, and then that was the only part she said he screams and yells at me, because these are all things that you know what I mean. Like that's not feminine. No, that's not
really.
That's more female trait.
And that's more than just a man expressing his feelings, right? Like I think we have to be honest. Like it's not about like, oh well, he probably just no.
That's
There's a difference. But because even more than that, I don't think women cry during every time.
Every time, right? As I was saying, shouldn't anyone?
You see what I'm saying? So I don't think that's about being masculine or feminine. I'm saying like just like people don't cry before every single fight. And because like you have some fights, like we all know you have a fight that's a knockdown drag out fight, but then you have a fight that's a little more silent, a little more tempered, where y'all kind of going at it, but
there's no need to. It's not like hiding emotions.
It's the cold world.
We're just going back and forth, and it's not. But to me, you know what that seems like? That seems like some type of tactic that he never got over from childhood, like having a tantrum, or
that's why I said, what was the issue with his mom?
Yeah, you know
how I asked about the mom.
You know how when you get people that don't know how to apologize, or you find out they were never made to apologize. So it seems like something. You know how kids like cry? They cry when they want attention. Like you were talking about that earlier. Like some people just like negative attention. Maybe it's something where he cries to get out of the fight. That's just what he knows. He has to learn.
He's won fights by crying.
With my ex, he didn't cry. It wasn't during fights. He would cry like during like when he was like having emotional conversations. But it was periods of time where it wasn't necessary. So I think that was like an attention thing as well. Like
that nigga was looking at you as lunch in a bad way.
Man, that nigga cut in the slices.
I
just need a freezer. We gotta get a freezer. Did you try to get a freezer?
Ranice, I don't care how. Hold on, Rodney. I don't care how annoying her voice was. It's not gonna make me cry.
The dude in the DM is definitely not breaking.
She must got a ring camera.
Man,
Brad's got a ring camera. Let me catch her without the camera.
This dude is in the club in the corner with a straw in his teeth. Like,
with 2 straws and an umbrella.
Hey, he definitely will.
This how he approaches drink.
Hey,
he eat a banana whole. He eat the banana straight out the damn peel. No, he don't break it or nothing.
He definitely wear overtoe sandals and toe rings.
With the toe ring. Ooh,
he definitely has toe rings.
This nigga definitely wear toe rings.
Yeah, he for sure. He got toe rings to listen to Eric Benet by himself with nobody else in the car.
Like
he has been outside shirtless to go to an event.
With some tattoos. With some tattoos.
Them tribals.
Some Indian tattoos. You get their fake Indian.
Being a man, like I'm a person who's very like in tune with my emotions and the emotions of others. Like that's just kind of how I am. I'm a Cancer. We're very nurturing. We know, I don't cry. I hate crying. All that.
We just kill people. But you're right.
We kill people.
Shit, you just kill people. Yeah.
I think the men do, but the women do. I think that even if I was dealing with like any type of like friend or female, like every time you are upset or every time, like every time you cry, like I don't think I would be
every time.
Maybe she exaggerated on that part, saying every. I don't understand how it's humanly possible. And then it's like, how desperate are you?
So I said he had acted.
A conversation where you didn't stayed with a dude who cry every time you get in an argument.
I think I would have to be like, I think about 3 times, but maybe for once, twice, 3 times. I don't know. I give people chances. So.
Sheila see that nigga cry one time, she'll be like, "Hey, yo, dog, I can't do this."
I know, but like maybe something happened. Maybe it was like died or something.
Nigga had a tear in the corner. I saw a tear right here. Saw some water right here.
No, but I would say this.
Gust or something. Got a gust. Shit,
but you know, I've spoken about this before that because I was raised by women, when altercations occurred in my relationship, that's how I felt like I responded like women in my relationships.
You busted out crying?
No, I didn't bust out crying, but I said like little bitch
Vaseline on his face. It was like Vaseline.
I said like little bitch lines, like, you know what? I just need my me time right now.
There we go.
You know what?
That me time.
But I felt like 2% gay like right after I said this.
But wait a minute, I know you again. I think even word might be a little bit. I've known you for almost 10 years, and I've only seen you cry like 3 times. And the only time I cry is when I talk about the
one was when Kobe died.
And the reason why I cry when I talk about that, because I can't do what I really want to do to him.
So
and that's that crying. That's the crying from men we used to when we was little. That little nigga that be crying when he's fighting.
I can tell you guys, I will never forget. There was one dude that I was dating. He was beautiful. He was super fine, everything. This is the first time he's coming to my house. I'm about to make dinner. I'm in Florida. We walk in through the door, and a little frog hopped in the door when we were coming in.
Please don't tell me he jumped.
This big bitch
nigga jumped.
Too.
He was screaming?
He was screaming and running from a frog that was like this big.
Like, how was he screaming
so mad. I
was must have been New York City.
I put both of their asses out the house.
Like, son!
And swept the frog. Like, you gotta go. I can't.
Yo,
like,
son.
That's the one thing. Like, I try to be nice, but I do have like a more masculine ego. And it's certain things, like my daddy was like a man. My big brothers are men.
Yes, they are.
So you can be kind of
Lou's like Sheila seems cold,
but you can't be a voice. Like I got a firm boundary. Like this.
Sheila, was the scream like or was it like soprano?
It wasn't soprano, but it was a
falsetto or soprano.
It was like 6'4".
Like a frog.
You know, like a certain size is even.
So how big does an insect have to be for a man to run?
Dude. Like that's even worse. I might have gave it more of a pass if I dated short dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but it was just too like
too big to be screaming like that.
Feminine, yeah.
6'1". He was short as hell.
Even if it is like an insect, like don't scream like me. Like
That's
scream
what
inside. Like make me feel
Go attack.
protected
You're
a
supposed to go
little.
kill. Yeah, you're supposed to go kill
Bro,
that damn
I
thing.
was freaking out at first, and then I'm like,
See, but see, these
You guys to go. So did you make him go home right then?
oh, I made him go home right then.
I figured that was
Hey, Sheila, did dude moan during sex?
We didn't sleep with each other. We didn't even get that far.
No, he
That
fucked
was
up.
his first time coming to my house. Before, like, my first date people, I meet him out. That was our first time coming to the house.
Like,
All right, Uncle Radio, man, we want to thank y'all for rocking with us. Thank you for that DM, Chan. That was much needed. Everybody, make sure you go out and vote for policy, not people. Vote for your interests. Vote for what works for you and your family. Vote for what you need. Hey, Willie, I'm with you too, nigga. Spider. All right, we both screaming.
Man, look.
It's okay if you
I
scream.
kill spiders. I kill all of it.
I
feel
kill
like,
them, but I might scream if it's big enough.
I feel like because sometimes
y'all know how I feel about spiders.
You might
Y'all
get
know me and
startled.
spiders.
You might get startled, so it's okay if you like you know what? But if we both have the same pitch, then that's where we're.
I gotta go.
Now look, Ted, I might scream, but shots would be falling. So it's about what you do after the scream. That Sheila dude,
he didn't stop screaming.
So,
and you have to understand how manly he looked. That's what made it more egregious. This was a very manly. Like, imagine like Idris Elba, and then you see him screaming. You'd be like, "What? This dude is so cool. He really screaming right now."
No, imagine Samuel L. Jackson on Shaft. That's what I mean. Like, that's a man.
Like Chandler,
manly screaming.
Look, check this out. I hate spiders too, and I might scream, but I'm gonna punch the shit out of it. Chandler has seen.
Oh my God,
he's out here punching spiders. What are y'all punching?
He fights bugs like they're people. Like
gave him uppercut.
Yeah, like he fights bugs.
Hey,
I don't know how he's punching a bug, but
I knocked the fuck out the spider. That nigga was. I punched his ass, and my kids was like, "Dad, you not gonna wipe him out?" I was like, "Nah," because I want all his other niggas.
That's an example.
This is
not lies.
This is why you don't fuck with me. like Simone would tell you, I literally left a spider on the wall for a year because I want all his niggas to see. This is not what you do. You don't run up on me like that.
This is not lies. This is not lies or exaggeration.
This is what y'all need right here. This is live. Why y'all one of these?
What is that?
Zapper. Fall through the hole.
No, they ain't crawling through the hole. They get zapped and electrocute you.
So Ron over here is chasing insects.
Exactly. I'm electrocuting everything.
Yo, y'all are making me cry.
Hey Mars, no. Hey Mars, look, you gotta suck the fuck out that ass. Like so, see, like for instance,
that's gave him a 3-piece.
Look, that's
look left, right.
You know,
uppercut.
Nah,
for real.
First, he'd be like the old man with the Oculus, you know, nigga that had the virtual reality on, nigga just punching in the air.
He has a bag of weapons. He'll use like a machete on like a spider. Like
just overkill.
Nigga, let me tell you something.
Look,
look, he got his knife. He's gonna pull the knife out. Like, look here, young man.
Right now on the ready. Like
that nigga turned the Rambo knife.
He loves to buy weapons. Like he'll be like
catching bullets with his teeth.
A mini axe.
He has an axe.
I bet he got stars. You got throwing stars. You got throwing stars.
Did you
know you do.
Out of your wallet?
That's in his backpack.
I don't fuck with insects.
You got throwing stars, don't you?
No, he's gonna get some probably. Now that you
I'm not ready.
She like, I would take a mosquito out with this because I hate mosquitoes. Them niggas are just disrespectful.
So you'll split a wall open to kill him.
Using a bazooka for an ant, boy. He using a bazooka.
Doesn't care. That's his normal.
People are like, bro.
See, the thing about it, y'all gotta send messages. Yeah, them motherfucking spiders be crawling on you.
Why he talking about them like they a gang?
I told you. That's how it is.
You used to use the aerosol with the lighter. Used to torch them.
He thinks they're people.
Like he is beefing with the spider mafia. You got to send him.
Yes.
Now that was a weird thing I experienced
Cut the
with
heads off.
cancer before. This fool would like see a roach at his apartment and like torture it for a couple of days, like put it under a cup and like I was like, yeah, that was our last. Yeah,
What?
cancer men are
Was he
some.
in Florida too?
That's why I was really laughing when Ron said a serial killer. Cancer men.
No, that's some New York shit.
Yeah.
That's some New York shit.
Y'all got them fucking cat size.
That's some New York shit. We torture like as little kids. That's
y'all got them big ass cat size rats. Shit.
How mean?
You like put them underneath the glass.
Hit them.
Get a lighter. See what?
There you go. It's coming out. It's coming out.
His inner serial killer.
It always be them quiet ones.
Yep.
It's true about cancer men.
Hey man, I'm finna get off this. Hey y'all, Uncouth Radio. Make sure y'all go vote. Kill a spider with an axe if you have to. We want to thank everybody who joined us. Shout out to Anne Francis Lambert. Make sure if you're in Virginia, you go vote for her too. And again, like I say, vote policy over people. Vote for the policies that'll be better for you and your family. I want to thank Cookie Lady, Chandra, Ron, Maine Brady, Quincy Belafonte. I really want to thank all of y'all. You know, today was a great show. It was good to hear all of y'all perspectives on this. I really enjoyed the show today. I really enjoyed the conversation. Let's keep this going. And everybody who don't know, after the election, we're going to take a break because this takes a whole lot out of us talking about all this political stuff because y'all don't only get to see us talk about it, but, you know, we also have to research all of this stuff before we get on. And dealing with all of this stuff, it gets exhausting because it's so much craziness. Like, I think with another administration, it might not be as crazy, but like the minute we're trying to research one story, Trump has dropped 3 other stories before I can even get to that. So by the time we get to Wednesday, we didn't research 13 stories and can only talk about 2 because that shit seemed like a whole year ago. Like, think about it. Y'all think about this, y'all. We ain't even talk about the fact that Rudy Giuliani got caught in the room with somebody who was supposed to be a 15-year-old reporter with his hands in his pants. Like, and that wasn't even enough to sink the president. Like, really think about that. So just
Noah did his top 100 scandals.
Yeah, like he really can have a countdown. So because of that, and for self-care and for peace of mind, we're gonna take a little break after the election. So I think we'll do one more show. We have to do a show after the election. So we'll do one more show after the election. After the election, y'all, we're gonna take a break. And everybody else, when you missing us, go check out Arc Republic. They have the check-in with Arc Republic. They doing some great stuff. Uncouth Radio. I see Rob got his gear. I see Cookie Lady got her gear. If y'all want some Uncouth Radio gear, tedrip.com, www.tedrip.com, and you can get your Uncouth Radio gear there. We appreciate y'all support, man. This was a great show. Y'all got me laughing, man. Y'all got me crying laughing. I'll see y'all next time.